Good morning and welcome to GP Video Podcast by Nadia. Today we are going to talk about reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health. Now, this topic might include me doing few episodes on it. So we'll start it from today and then we'll see how we go. Reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health is a topic that is not largely explored in third world countries, but because of all the awareness and education and literature and awareness among women and awareness of how to use all the internet resources, it's actually given a lot of education to women around, and women know all about it mostly, and they come and seek help from GPs. So I really thought that it's a very good idea that in this era of increasing awareness about reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health, that I should be touching on these topics as well, because while there is a lot of wide information available on internet, there are still some misconceptions because it's actually still an evolving area where the endocrinologists, gynecologists, and psychiatrists are all actually working in conjunction to find out the best possible modalities and best possible treatments. So I thought that whatever information I have, I should be also taking part in it and take part in just giving some information out to the community, whatever I have at this stage. So these podcasts are largely inspired by a podcast called The Good GP, where in the episode where it was these reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health were spoken about by Professor Jayashri Kulkarni, who is a professor of women's mental health and especially reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health for the last 30 years. And she is actually the best in the field in Australia at this stage for this. So when I say reproductive hormones and its effects on women's mental health, what are the conditions I'm talking about? So I'm talking about PMS, premenstrual syndrome, PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and PME, premenstrual exacerbation of pre-existing mental health condition. So these are the three conditions, and usually what happens is because of a bit of lack of information when women usually start looking it up, we can confuse them all. So today's topic and the upcoming episodes when I will be doing it on the same topic, I would try and give all my points to differentiate between PMS, PMDD and PME, and my main area of interest would be PMDD because that's the area which is the most significant condition, and PMS doesn't need much treatment. PME also, when I will talk about it, you will get to know that it is not something that is not explored before. But PMDD is a condition which is very serious and its treatment is very, very, very important. Its recognition, its diagnosis, its treatment, its monitoring is like really very, very important. And I really want to take this opportunity to impart all my education to you guys. And then with the help of your GP, if you have this condition, it can be treated well and then you can get rid of all the bothersome symptoms. So we'll start with PMS. What is PMS? Any women of reproductive age or menstruating age, or the women who have periods, like let's start from 12 to 13 years of age till 50, an arbitrary age group. What happens in these women is that PMS is a constellation of primarily or usually physical health symptoms that about 80% of reproductive age women, 80% of women who have periods, 80% of women who are in menstruating age, they experience these symptoms in the week prior to bleeding. So when they start having periods, which is usually academically day 1 to day 7, a week prior to that, in the last phase of the luteal phase or in the last phase of the menstruation cycle, they start experiencing some bloating, some irritability, some lack of energy, some fatigue and headaches. Especially if they suffer from migraines, there would be an increased intensity of migraines, an increased frequency and increased intensity of migraines in the week prior to 7 days or 10 days prior to bleeding. So the last 7 to 10 days of the menstrual cycle or the luteal phase usually. So generally not feeling brilliant and just fatigued and all, and then they go away when the menstruation starts. So this is a condition which 80% of women suffer from, and it's called premenstrual syndrome. The other condition, which is PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is quite distinct from PMS, is like 10 to 15% of women of reproductive age or menstruating age or bleeding age, they suffer from it. Only 10 to 15%. And it is quite distinctive from PMS because it entails major significant depression that begins again in maybe 10 days before bleeding. So in 10 days before bleeding, it starts with quick onset, like snap-like onset of severe major depression and brain fog. They can't think clearly. Even the usual tasks of the day that they do like on daily day-to-day basis, they can't do it. So it's called like brain fog. They can't think clearly. They can't think straight. They are before depression, actually, they start getting very irritable and very angry. So there is a rage which comes on. They are very angry. Then they become really very sad and depressed, can't multitask, and feeling rage more often than ever. So as I said, first rage comes and then the feeling of sadness. They can even become suicidal, or they have panic attacks, anxiety, and some of the physical symptoms that I spoke about in PMS, like, again, feeling, having headaches, having bloating, having just generally not feeling well, but with severe major depression, can be suicidal, panic attacks, anxiety, feeling rage first, and then this feeling of rage will just change into severe sadness. So this is a combination of severe mental and physical health symptoms, and it is quite a severe condition. And again, the most pathognomonic feature is it is started like that, like a snap, sudden onset and then sudden offset when the menstruation starts. So my video again is now 7.5 minutes long. So I've just shed primarily light on what is PMS and what is PMDD, what are the differences, and I will continue with it tomorrow. Thank you so much.